Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to Channel Rockaritaville. I'm El Rock, your hostess, and we are here to do your general timeless energy reading for the week ahead for the sun, moon, and rising sign of Scorpio. As always, this is a general energy reading. So, what we're going to do is we're going to pull out the story of your most influential energy of the week ahead. And if that story doesn't resonate with you, check out your moon and rising sign on the channel because there might be something there for you instead. And then finally, I want to thank my new and returning subscribers and for all of those dropping by the channel just to check it out. Thank you so much for being here and for your likes, your shares, your subscribes, your comments. All of it helps the channel grow, so thank you. So, with all of that said, let's get rocking and rolling and find out what your energy is for the week ahead, Scorps. Scorpio's most influential energy for the week ahead, please. Give me something good, Scorps. Scorpio's most influential energy for the week ahead, please. This wants to come out. Listen for spirit, barn owl. Mullen, integration. Spotted skunk, stand up for yourself, Scorpio. One more, please. All right. Final card is Be Yourself, Daisy. I love it. All right, so let's start with Barn Owl. What immediately started coming through, and at the bottom of the deck, Hawthorne, Heart's Home. So with Barn Owl, what I'm getting off of this is with Listen for Spirit, this is finding the balance between what your heart and your head want, Scorpio. You can see there the scroll in his talons. And there are definitely messages coming through, likely in your nighttime space, maybe in your dream space. And there's definitely wisdom coming in. You're really going to want to check in with your heart. I think that your head's going to try to override with a lot of logic. And Scorps, there's a fine balance here between the two. If you're afraid of being vulnerable, you do have the ability to stand up for yourself. Now, with Spotted Skunk, when Spotted Skunks, I love Spotted Skunk. It's so adorbs. Because in the book, it kind of talks about how, Spotted Skunk takes a stand. See how it's doing a little handstand there? And, it only does it when it has to, Scorps. And in this case, it's, unpleasant as skunk smell is, and yet it doesn't really hurt anybody. And yet the lesson from when Scorpio stands up for itself the way Spotted Skunk does is it stays with you for a while. So Scorps, you might be going a little Spotted Skunk this week on somebody. So listen for the guidance around that situation as well, because you're clearly setting a boundary. Now, Mullen is here with integration, and again, I'm getting the head and the heart here. We're also in the middle of this, we're in the Scorpio full moon right now. So, with that, you're in a process of integrating who you truly are here with the medicine of Daisy. So Mullen talks about, the connections between all things, how the pull of the moon influences the tides, how an acorn can go from an oak and how a or how a caterpillar turns into a butterfly. So Mullen talks about the integration and the interconnectedness of all things. It also talks about how Spider here has its sense of the greater web of life and how all things are connected, and how when something moves in one area of the web, the spidey sense, right, can tune into that. And so with that, that spidey sense that you have, that's where you're going to be getting your messages from spirit. Of course, meditation is always a way to do that. I really feel like, Scorpio, this is coming in your dream space though. So interesting. And be yourself, Daisy. Daisy's from a famous family from like, chamomile and echinacea. And she's considered kind of the more common of that flower group. And, Daisy's just really, she's cool with who she is. And, this is calling you to be yourself and reminding you that it's okay for you to stand up for that if you need to. You don't need to do real damage when you stand up for yourself, Scorpio. You don't need to burn down the house. Sometimes maybe you just stink it up a little bit and lessons are learned. A little bit of experience can go a long way to create compassion and empathy for somebody. All right. Let's find out a little bit more about Barn Owl. We're clarifying with the Patch Tarot deck. We started with a mixed deck, 2 decks combined, the Illustrated Herbiary and the Illustrated Bestiary decks. So tell me more about Barn Owl, please. What's Scorpio listening for in the week ahead? The Ace of Cups, compassion. Yeah, you're really digging into that heart space. You're lit. So I'm wondering if you're going to, and they're really similar colors too. Look at those colors there, the blues, the purples. I'm wondering if you're going to need to harness some compassion around standing up for yourself, Scorpio. Perhaps maybe in standing up for yourself, there could be a greater show of aggression, and yet the spirit of compassion is in your heart waters there. And so, listen for the guidance in whatever situation you find yourself in, where you're put in a defensive position, a stance, when you have to take a stance or stand up for yourself. That's the energy that you're looking for. And be also looking for the guidance that comes with that. Make yourself available to it and embody compassion in that situation. What else? Okay. 4 of Swords, respite. It's that quiet. It's taking time to think about what you're thinking about. Again, we talked about messages from Barn Owl and from Spirit, listening to your heart, coming in your sleep space. See how he's down. You've got the angel here. And look at that smile. I think whatever this upgrade is or whatever these intuitive hits are really for your highest good, Scorps. So you're definitely, being called into that state of quietude to be able to receive those messages that are coming in for you. Tell me more about Mullen and integration. What's Scorpio integrating in the week ahead? What's Scorpio integrating in the week ahead? Scorps, it looks like you're integrating that conflict energy, but that conflict energy with the 8 of Swords is more in your own headspace. So be careful about creating storylines in your head that haven't happened. If it hasn't happened, it hasn't manifested, it's not real. So, be aware that whatever this noise is in your headspace, you do have the ability to set yourself free from that. And then we had the Queen of Wands come out. So something that you feel really passionate and fiery about. The Queen of Wands is growing something new. See how there's water in her mind space, and yet that's all balanced, right? It's not overly emotional. It's a logical, passionate area. So be mindful of that mind space and what you're integrating. You don't want a polluted mind space when you're in integration. When you're in integration, that means, Scorpio, that something's coming into your life, a change of some sort that you need to stabilize. And you could potentially be in a state of confusion until information comes in that relieves you from that. And so, with that, whatever that is, it's something really passionate that you really care deeply about, and being mindful to rest and be available for the messages rather than trying to figure it all out on your own, Scorpio. So, oh, all right. So we had a card that flipped in the deck. Are there any other ones? Nope. Okay. Yeah. So the wizard, the magician, the power of creation. So you are integrating and stabilizing your creations and also building up on them, Scorpio. Look at the power of the magician or the wizard here. It has all of the elements. It has, all of the suits in the tarot. It has the pentacle, the stability of abundance. It has the mindfulness of the swords. It has the emotional well-being of the waters and the cups, and it has the passion and the drive of fire and wands energy. Again, here's another scroll. Do you see how the wizard, so your scroll, your information is delivered by spirit, and your wizard self, that magical part of yourself, can interpret the scroll, okay? So whatever this information is, it's magical information, it's helpful information, it's necessary, it's needed. And so be prepared for that because it is part of your manifestation. I see the infinity symbol here and the flow that is, the infinite nature that life is, always renewing itself. So, your integration, you are definitely harnessing the power of a manifestation here. And so, being balanced in that and being a mindful manifester, if you're in a state of confusion and you don't know what you want, stop manifesting because you'll manifest something you don't want, Scorpio. So create that ease in your body. And, if it feels like life is happening to you, I would invite you into the concept of how might life actually be happening for you. If you're experiencing delays in something, how does that delay serve your highest good? How can you take that time to harness your manifestation powers and take those extra steps that actually brings what it is you're creating to a higher level, and then you can manifest it at that higher level rather than the level that it's at. Makes sense? So by giving it space, it lets it get better. All right. Tell me more about how Scorpio's standing up for themselves. Okay, Scorpio, you have a victory. Spotted Skunk's bringing you in a Six of Cups. So whatever it was that you did that you needed to stand up for yourself and set a boundary, you come out ahead because of it. You get what you want. You have that victory wreath there. You have the support of the crowd. Maybe the fact that you needed to stand up for yourself wasn't a popular decision, and yet it was a really good decision for you. Interesting. Anything else about standing up for yourself, Scorps? Oh, wow. Interesting. Are you standing up for a relationship, Scorpio, maybe? 10 of Discs, legacy, happiness, abundance, the passage of time, generations, family, all of that. So, whatever it is that you did to stand up for yourself, Scorpio, it looks like it brought you a victory and, 10 of Pentacles, which is that abundance. So, wow, interesting. Hostility, 5 of Wands in reverse popped out for the spotted skunk. So it looks like whatever this was or is, there is some combat, and it might be in a group nature, right? That there's that this isn't, this is having to set a harder boundary. This is having to toe a harder line. And yet you still pull the victory out of it because you're manifesting. You're getting your messages from spirit, you're integrating them, you're clearing out confusion, you're staying passionate about what you're driving towards. You're manifesting effectively using all of the elements. You're standing up and setting boundaries, creating victories in that legacy that you want because you're willing to fight for your legacy. You're willing to fight for what you want, Scorpio. And you're not, and I feel it. I feel the energy flaring up. Like, I am not backing down on this. And whatever it is that you're not backing down on, it serves you well. It might be scary in the moment, but I think it's necessary. Here it is. All right, the Hermit came out sideways. So you have the Four of Swords in terms of spirit, and, Barn Owl, the medicine, your animal medicine that came in, listening for spirit, balancing your heart with your head, receiving those messages. And then the Hermit came out sideways. So what that says to me is that you're going to be struggling between balancing a state of isolation and a state of meditation. The difference between isolation, by having this card in the sideways position, isolation is going to bring that sense of not really being able to accomplish what you're working towards. That 6 of Wands, the victory card, the 10 of Discs, legacy. That isolation brings around this 8 of Swords and this conflict emotion that you're feeling. And so if you can turn that upright and focus and meditate on your goals and allow that to come in and be available to it, you can receive the guidance. But if you're in isolation or you're not meditating in a more intentional state, you're going to be fighting those swords in your mind space, Scorps. So be yourself. Daisy. What messages do we have from Daisy? Yeah, there's a Genesis here. We've got the 2 of Wands. There's that origin moment, that what I would call the Big Bang, when all of the energy accumulates in that one area for that singular moment, that singularity where everything happens, right? It's the genesis of a new beginning. And it looks like there's somebody here that's in conflict. This is you standing up for yourself. And in the reverse position, it would be destruction, right? But you can see here that there's almost a certain degree of pleasure. I see like almost a little smirk in having to set this boundary, because it's an important and valuable lesson, Scorpio, in how people are allowed to treat you. And being yourself doesn't mean being a doormat, Scorps. It means being who you are in your fullness and knowing that you have the power to stand up for yourself in that moment and harness the energy of creating this legacy and this victory that's coming for you. So that's really beautiful. It's about 5% battery life, so it's going to go fast. Oh, wow. 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, 6 of Wands. If this is a love connection, Scorps, just wow. How lucky are you? That's beautiful. And if it's work, you've got something great coming in for you. You might have a new job coming in, a promotion of some sort. At the bottom of the deck, we have the 8 of Discs, which is diligence. It's tending to your garden. It's tending to the details that you have going on around you, Scorps, and allowing for it to come in, and also being willing to show up and work for it, and additionally being willing to fight for it when you have to. So there you have it. There it is, Scorps. Let's find out what what guidance? So this is the Trust Your Vibes deck. So what vibes is Scorpio being guided to trust in the week ahead, please? Talk shop. So this might very well be a work relationship or an expansion in work for you, Scorps. If it's love, because there is the heart there with the two little flowers. If this is a love relationship, get real about what it is that you want and be available to hear what your person wants, right? When you're talking shop about the potential of love, relationship, union, while chemistry is super important, that's not your game there. Chemistry is not what it helps. It gets you to that place to understand if compatibility is there. So if this is relationship oriented, Scorps, be having those conversations about compatibility and what you expect from one another, and be very, very clear about that. If this is work, talk shop, throw out your ideas. The ideas are robust, they're flowing, you've got that connection with spirit. And perhaps by talking shop, it'll keep you out of that Eight of Swords mind space and confusion. So, what other ways is Scorpio being guided to trust their vibes in the week ahead, please? What other ways is Scorpio being guided to trust their vibes in the week ahead? Walk it off. So, in conflict situations, I think, did we just get this for Capricorn? I think we did. Um, Sorry, I was looking at the cards going, what was in the Capricorn reading? Um, Walk it off. Go for a walk. Take yourself out of the equation. If you're in a conflict scenario and there's nothing you can do, walk out of it. You don't need to be there. But moving that energy, also, if you can go to the ocean, walking on the beach is a really great way to ground your energy. Just being out in nature. And again, there's the image of an angel. So, also, when you're walking it off, I would expect to be available to downloads and guidance as you go through that energetic movement of moving your body and clearing that energy through a walk. How else can Scorpio trust their vibes? What vibes is Scorpio being guided to trust? Ask your spirit helpers. Yup, Scorpio. You've got a lot of spiritual guided energy around you this week. Don't forget to ask for help. I learned in the spiritual center that I attend that you have to make yourself available for your spiritual helpers to come in, and to do that, you have to ask for help because of free will. And the way that help was described at the spiritual center was, hello, eternal loving presence, help. Hello, eternal loving presence, help me, please. So, your spirit helpers are on the ready. They're here to work with you, they're here to guide you, they are here to communicate with you. Look for those signs and synchronicities because they are all around you. You've got support for whatever this conflict is. And whether it's big or it's little, you've got it. You've got your 10 of Cups rolling in here. You have your 10 of Pentacles rolling in here. You have your 6 of Wands showing up. You have your Queen of Wands with passion. Oh my God, you've got your Ace of Cups, emotional new beginnings. Just rest. Be in your hermit and meditate. Take your respite with the Four of Swords and just be mindful not to get in your own head too much. And that there's a potential conflict coming where you're going to come out A-okay. Deal with it with grace and beauty. You always do, Scorpio. I love you. Bottom of the deck is expect the best. That is your week ahead. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.